Welcome back to Sunday Shenanigan Session, the Unfortunate Sons, as we are calling them now.
TM.
Hmm?
TM. Trademarked.
Oh, yes. Wait. Last time we left off, the party had set off on their first day of expedition. Having managed to get through, being told they were being added to the expedition, getting to meet some of the leaders, getting to see Regan Utham leave, they somehow managed to survive without being attacked, killed, or anyway bothered, as Eider would learn that was the best of the days of this expedition. As shortly after, the party would find themselves at the bottom of the mountain on their first day of travel, as they would encounter the leader of the Pack of Smiles, who, while the party spent their night at camp, relaxing, resting, and kind of rejuvenating, would not only sit down with them, but would basically admit to them that they were a evil individual bent on destroying the world, or some such nonsense, as they called them, the Sunday Unfortunate Sons heroes, stating something along the lines of them being too weak for them. Unfortunately for the party, as they would try to deal with this individual, they seemed almost completely unbothered, as the leader, Valthana herself, would manage to, even from what the party could tell, charm the leader of this expedition into completely ignoring all of the complaints coming from the party after they would issue a problem amongst the camp with her. Though the party would manage to kind of come to an understanding that this wasn't going to be settled diplomatically. They were still refused to play this bard's game, as they would she would offer up what looked to be a bag of random magic, assorted decision makers or something of the sort. As the party didn't get a chance to look before, Eider would cleverly decide to mimic putting his hand in. However, right before it would enter the bag, turn it up and blast the individual herself straight in the chest. Though the party was left kind of surprised, Valthana would retreat from there, leaving nothing but what looked to be a soul coin on the ground, as she just disappeared into black smoke, if I remember correctly. We come back to Nick, Kaznanok, Eider, and Dom looking at the soul coin. However, as Eider and Dom find themselves both currently at almost at odds with each other with their intention towards this coin, Kaznanok finds himself pulled away for a moment, sitting once more at a table in a kitchen. What looks to be similar to his own, to your own, Kez, growing up in your family house. A large figure that looks almost like an older fire giant, with gray hair around her, kind of coming down off the sides of her head. You feel almost a kin-like familiarity with this woman, as a natural outpouring of love and warmth comes from her. She kind of sets down a what looks to be a plate full of these oatmeal cookies right in front of you, a glass of thick milk. She kind of sits at the table and looks at you and goes, "What can I do for you, young man? You seem troubled."
I found a. I'm gonna talk with your child. I found a coin that I don't know how to feel about, because it's a bad thing, I think, and I don't know what I should do with it.
She kind of takes a second and smiles as the coin suddenly appears in your hand, as you're kind of talking about this. The coin kind of floats to the table as she looks at it for a second and goes, soul coin. These are... Item, you could call this an empty vessel, someone who has been left to rot, or a soul that are left without, if you will, is what you'd see these as. Souls whose masters have traded them for simple pleasures would be another term to use them for. During an age long lost and now sunken into moors, fate was different. Fate was considered and decided by more vile beings, creatures that even the gods themselves could not control. As the gods don't believe in suffering, especially for those that follow them, they came up with a agreement with such beings. And she kind of lets the coin float in the air as you see a little, what looks to be Snowbeard, kind of screaming in pain as he is being hammered away at, nails being driven into his skin as he sits on what looks to be a heavy chunk of like an anvil of sorts. Some demon-like creature that's almost impossible to describe as you see this, Kaz, leaving nothing but a horror in your mind, hammers away at it. Hammers away at the nails digging into the creature's skin. As she kind of like waves her hands, this imagery kind of dissipates once more. As you kind of see her fully, and as she smiles at you and goes, "Those souls whose lives are either too weak or already sold are handed out to those in moors. They use them buy things, to live lives of luxury and enjoyment, to prove their power over others, to or to earn positions that can even defy what the gods wish of them. These coins are not meant for mortals to see. Those who come in contact are no better than, well, if they collect them, than those fiends of moors, and will find themselves banished to there regardless of their decisions. Those who choose to free," as she says, almost with air quote, putting her fingers up in an air quote like formation, "by cracking these, will find themselves recognized by their god as someone of great kindness, but those who do break them need to understand they are not freeing the soul, they are killing the soul. These souls removed permanently from reincarnation, never to actually be able to reincarnate once more. Though common texts got this have a misbelief of this due to, well, that's something you'll learn on your own quite soon. As far as how to free the souls from these things, as you feel like a tug at your mind for a moment, as if she's kind of reading it, she continues. My understanding is the only way to remove these souls, to allow them to go back to rebirth, is to let those who own them give up the pact and the deal to allow the souls to move on. Truly vile beings will forever return to moors, but those who were tricked and not meant for this will be allowed to move on and return to the flow of reincarnation. That is all I can tell you at this time. As you kind of see a little like floating collar kind of in the air, kind of hanging down from the roof or the ceiling above you, seems to come into fruition, and you see Ella kind of looks at it and then looks back at you and goes, "It seems the gods have deemed that you are not yet ready for the information that this will need. So I do apologize, my child. This is all I can tell you."
Uh, may I collect the coins so I could free them, or is that also a no-no?
If you do so, you will put yourself at risk. For those who seek them out, the owners of the coins will look for you. You can collect them, but do understand that if you are recognized as their owners once the creatures are killed, and you do not give up these powers, you will see your soul damned without my ability to save you.
Everything I do is for you, Mama.
She kind of smiles at that and kind of stands up as she walks over and pats your head lightly and goes, "I know, and for that I'm sorry." As you see, your vision kind of comes back and you see yourself back in the tent, surrounded by your compatriots, both with Dom and Eider kind of eyeing the coin that's currently on the ground. As we return.
I see that we all have something interesting. Uh, when it comes to these coins.
Full disclosure, I was like bending down and like midway, like about to like snap it.
Oh, Dom was immediately reaching for the coin as soon as it was seen. There's no talking. I think me and Ida are both mid-action shot.
If you break the coin, that's it for the soul inside.
Do we need to roll contested checks?
If you guys are all gonna go for it, I'll take initiative checks from each of you.
Commons.
I think Ned will too.
Okay.
Oh shit!
Dom was in the middle. Dom was in the middle of grabbing last session, so I've just got to continue that momentum.
Oh shit!
Ned, don't get corrupted.
That's a 9 on mine.
9.
All right.
Well, let me see what I got.
Billy, Ned's across the room.
14.
17.
All right. As Kez reaches down first, grabbing it, as each of you start to kind of move and stopping yourselves as you guys kind of lean down and grab it quickly, snatching it away before you can really get forward momentum going. Kez, as you look about, it's not immediately clear your entire group was going for it, but as their eyes are kind of seemingly almost all locked on the coin as you pick it up and pull it towards yourself, it's pretty easy to tell all of your party has an intent towards it.
Breaking this coin, while freeing it from torment, kills the soul. I intend on freeing it. I will not allow you to take a life, even in this form.
I have no intent to
it.
destroy the coin.
Destroying the coin will kill the person inside. Never be brought back. No nothing. It's over. If you get the person who put them in the coin to release them, their soul can go free.
What would be the purpose of destroying coins that could be useful to us understanding what's happening? And Dom's kind of got his arms crossed, seeing you have it, and seems like irritated.
Why would you want to use the coin, Dom?
Right.
Not
I'm
spend
on Dom's
it,
side.
study it. Study it, understand how it works, the source of its power. It's tied to whatever wants to kill us. They're useful.
I will say,
not
Kez,
in their current state.
As you have a quick flicker of your eye towards the coin, and you do recognize the big emblem on one side of it that matches the emblem on your neck. Oh well, that was on your neck, is now no longer, of course, being able to see.
Gotcha. So it can be assumed that the person who at least condemned the soul inside this coin belongs or is, Cataclysm.
Rough guess, or is of the Church of Cataclysm, yeah.
Or, okay, cool. Listen, Eider, what did you intend on doing with this coin?
I was going to destroy it.
It's the only way to free it. Eyes.
No, it is not. It is not the only way to free it.
How do you know that? Because the best tomes that I've been able to find as far as research have all stated that.
Divine intervention. My goddess talks to me.
Because I want you to understand, I mean this with literally no disrespect, but how sure of you were you that it was your god? Because the last time you received divine intervention was on top of a mountain. And
to be fair, we were in a very horrible place.
I gesture to the soul coin.
I imagine also towards the Pack of Smiles camp.
Was murdered.
Listen, Ader, I want you to realize you got pretty angry with me when I didn't jump up to save that fake person. You will be actually killing someone if you break this coin. It is freeing them from torment, but you are forever destroying their soul. If you're able, assuming that it was my deity, and I believe it to be so, a way to free the soul without breaking it is by getting the person who put it in there to release them. And that will let their soul actually be free, and not dooming them to whatever comes after from a soul death.
You think someone willing to trap the soul in the first place will just release it if we ask nicely?
Absolutely not. But that's what we're here for.
How would we make them willingly release the soul then? Or does killing the person who trapped them cancel it out?
That's an excellent question, Dom. I guess we will be researching more into these coins, but by the mother, we will
He looks a
not
little
be
smug.
we will not be spending them or destroying them. I will not let the souls
Obviously not. I don't know what would you even spend it on? A black market? What's gonna take these coins? Most people can't even see them.
Apparently, these coins are used in the transfer of goods and services in a place called Moors.
You mean where the thing that wants to kill us lives in? Yeah, I think I'll go get groceries there tomorrow.
Nonetheless, Ader, we must not destroy these coins, but we must free them from the chains that bind them. I know you have a feeling to destroy these, and it's admirable to free them as soon as possible from their torment. And some might see it as cruel to let them remain while we try to figure out a way to fully free them.
How vast do you think Moors is?
That's an excellent question. I honestly have no idea what Moors is.
Do I get? Hold on, one second.
That be in
DM could look DM Lord
Druids know about?
Damn.
So you can give me a knowledge religion or knowledge planes. However, I will warn the planes DC will be very high. So
yeah, because I'm correct.
Only have knowledge on that, so
because almost nobody knows about Moors during this period of time, right?
No, not really. I'll take a knowledge nature as well for Ned in that case.
Knowledge nature. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, because I know they maybe heard something from
Ned knew they spent the druids spent them, so.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I was just wondering if because I looked into the research a little bit, and the unfortunate dwarven past. I'll call it that way.
16.
But just wondered if I needed to roll
without a roll. I would say from your understanding, you would know that Snowbeards at some point historically had managed to master this craft. There's a lot of contention around where it came from. Like anything with Snowbeards, a source of the first master is always a major factor and can make or break a family's clan title and position. So immediately from that would be something that's always been in contention. There's no confirmed where it came from. Some believe it was the giants, some dragons, some believe it was a completely foreign creature. Others believe it was some dwarf who shot laser beams out of his eyeballs. There's, many who have kind of depicted it throughout the ages. Gotcha. 27. All right, so 16 on nature, 15 on religion, and 27 on religion. Kez, are you rolling at all or no?
No, I'm gonna just play into the. I mean, I don't.
Okay.
I'm gonna play into that. I don't know anything about what Moors is.
Dom, you have no idea. You've never heard of it. Ned, the name sounds roughly familiar. You're pretty sure there's a druid grove somewhere in the world that worships and knows more about the information. But the only people you can think of that would even be able to gather where that grove could be would be in the Anvil's domain in his capital city, where rumors of all of the groves are tracked. But otherwise, yeah, you're not. There's not much else you can kind of manage. 27, Eider. The rough belief of where, from your perspective of what you asked earlier, are you asking for this, is the 27 for Moors or is the 27 specifically for the origin of your people's craft?
I'd say for the origin of Moors, because I was wanting to illustrate the point. I know, okay. I think I know all that I want to know about that portion of my people, which is to say, it's Nazi history.
Yeah. So, Moors is a rumored, not fully confirmed plane of existence. Some religions believe that it's where your soul goes if you're evil, or if you're damned by your god. The general belief is the few people who have supposedly been there and come back that were recognized amongst the collective and have written reports about it are all considered insane or mad, as all of their depictions don't make sense. Depicting a world of darkened skies, earth of made of purple sand, castles of black rock, and screams of unending evil and horror and pain everywhere you go, with beings that were said to be so powerful they could bring down the gods. Which, the fact that something like that could even exist is completely unlikely. It doesn't make any sense. It seems like the rambling of a madman. The only confirmed information you'd have is that there is a religious belief amongst one druid grove that is infamous, known as the Skulls Grove, for who do travel between the mortal plane and Moors freely. However, the very few people or very few scholars that have met with them have reported them as very hostile to almost all races. But they have confirmed that they are able to travel to a land described similarly to what the madmen have reported.
Good. Yeah, like pipe up after a moment and say, so as far as any conventional knowledge knows, it's a fucking myth, Kez. The people that do know about it, say that they've been to it, go entirely insane. Without fail, without equal. Worst is that dwarves unfortunately have more of a history with soul coins than I'm. We mastered it at one point, mastered its usage, made things with it. I understand your approach in wanting to save these people, but how many millennia do you think it's going to take for you to be able to find these things?
However long it takes.
Do you think you actually have the power to do that? To travel between an existence or reality, a thing all of its own?
Maybe not now, but I fully intend on doing it nonetheless. I have a job to do, and by God, I'll do it.
In the meantime, and I like gesture to the coin, that thing's in agony. And worse, it's creating corruption, temptation, evil around it. You spend soul coins to make rituals, pacts sometimes. People that know how to, it's never good.
Then we won't spend them. I would never spend this.
I'm not saying you would. I'm just saying it's a small object. It's easy to be misplaced.
I will be very disheartened if anyone were to pickpocket this from me, because then I wouldn't have been able to save this soul. But Ader,
You should get
I've got.
something
I have-
secure
Have
to
you
put it in.
seen the people we're around every day?
Ader, I have thousands of years of life remaining. If I can't get strong enough to do what I need to do by the time that my clock stops ticking, then I don't deserve to be any part of my god's court.
I appreciate the sentiment. My point is that this is about you, not about whoever that is. While you muster your strength to do that, that person's in agony. Unending, horrifying agony.
I think it's a little out of our depth to have the power to condemn an entire soul like that, wouldn't you say, though, Aether? It's agony, but people go through agony living lives normally and are still reborn. Go through it again. The soul might even forget if it's freed and reborn. You say we should refuse them that chance.
Because there's nothing after this, after that soul breaks. And I'm not willing to condemn a soul to that fate.
I just kind of sighs and says, "It makes me uncomfortable, but it's your decision to make." I think if you asked anybody that was on the rack for long enough, they'd prefer oblivion to the amount of pain that you can cause.
Well, at that point, I'd say they're not in their right mind. But this is a tough conversation, and I, if you don't mind, would be preferring to move on from this. It is done. Dom, I know you want to do some research into it to see what can be done. If that research can be directed towards finding out who put the soul in this coin, and anything more about how
Yes.
terms to free them, that'd be greatly appreciated.
I am not arcanely gifted, but my condition, he gestures kind of towards himself, curse, might allow me the ability to sense things. I've not tested it, but I might be able to help in tracking those down. I would need time to read on it, study the coin. But I think it's better than destroying it. Kind of glances at Eider.
I haven't brought this up, and I definitely should. From what I was told, those who collect these coins, in terms of using them and spending them, and doing the horrible things with them, even if you are a good person and everything else you do it for a good reason. Apparently, no matter what you've done in your life, you will be damned to this moors. So I want you all to be careful.
I told you, they're corruptive.
Then we must be better.
So much for
Be
that
better.
not being
Straight
heroes
out of
speech we
Captain
gave.
America the Falcon.
In my defense, I didn't say no. She just took my answer as no.
All right.
I don't like to self-label as a hero type. Seems a bit egotistical, and Dom kind of shrugs.
Yeah. To be honest, same sentiment, really.
After that whole conversation's done, I guess we all turn around. Are they there?
Yeah, Burr's just been standing there just staring at you lot the entire time, just waiting for you to leave their tent.
Hi.
No.
No?
Just nod and leave.
Alright, heard.
So you kind of
walking out of
yeah.
as I'm leaving the tent, I just go, I really only reached for it because everybody else did. I just wanted to see what it was.
Yeah, honestly, I'm pretty
Peer
confusing.
pressure works so well on that.
Nobody even pressured him. What are you talking about?
Peer suggestion.
As you lot head back over to your cart as well as the logs and fire you've set up, give me a spot check, each of you.
All right.
I'm stealing that coin.
Should be okay.
I'm gonna add the soul coin to my inventory.
Oh, don't worry about that
So
here in a
close to
second.
20s, but
It's about to be mine.
never at
I'm
20s.
kidding. Go ahead. You're good. 26. Jesus. Yeah, 15. Okay.
Oh yeah, I got a net 20.
I rolled
Nice
bad.
work.
I almost did.
26.
And then I didn't.
26.
I did not get a nat 20.
No, we got two 26. Jesus.
Alright, let's see what we got. I have a +7 to my spot. Let's see what we got here. Oh, that. So I have a +7 to my spot, so that'd be an 8.
Okay. An 8.
Mm-hmm.
But alright, cool. As you lot kind of look on for a moment, looking up towards the night sky, the stars overhead, and as you start to walk over, in the distance you see at the mouth of the mountain of where you originally kind of marched down from. Do you want to introduce what you look like? The person who's falling, I guess would be a good way of putting it right now.
I have both a description and an image. You guys see this fucking thing, 23 feet tall, carrying something in his hand while he flies towards all of you, with his bright glowing wings and body.
As you see this individual on top of him, I don't know if the other individual's available there, but if you are, Wolf, you want to describe your character as well?
Yeah. So you guys see carried easily in one hand of this huge fucking creature is a little mostly naked twink.
Not another one.
That
There's another.
looks like
Guys, you're not
this.
alone.
5 foot nothing. Super shredded. Wearing just like loose, just like fucking rag pants.
I
Huh.
don't think Royce knows what's going on here.
No, this is what I was told.
Trust me, I was told last minute.
Oh, this is not the expectation of the description I was getting.
I'm sorry. I got interrupted by phone call.
You're good.
Yeah, little twink, standing proudly in the open-faced palm of this massive fucking flying creature.
So it's no longer 2 stone giants then, huh?
Never
We were.
was.
I will.
Ever was.
We never said we were stone giants.
I said missionaries of the stone giants.
Missing context.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Don't worry, you're about to get context. As they come flying down, you see the camp kind of comes to light, a few people standing and getting about. But as Burr comes out of her tent, a horn blows and the camp goes quiet. As Burr seems to walk over to meet the pair as they come to a landing. Seems to say a few things and then points over to your guys' camp as you see everyone kind of look over immediately towards you lot.
Shit, this kid ain't okay.
I just like start trying to push everybody into the cart and try to leave. It's like, oh shit. Not
I
again.
will-
Starts waving at everybody.
I will walk over and then I'll set like my hand palm down to let my my brother step out of it.
As you walk over the camps and around them, kind of managing to find a nice pathway, stepping over a few fires, it doesn't take you more than a few feet or a few steps to get over to their camp.
Yeah. I'll step out of his open palm daintily, look at all of you and go, "Hello! I am here to spread the good word."
Frank?
Oh no.
I mean,
Who is Frank?
no, sorry. Sorry for every time.
My name is Frungus Sprung,
Oh, no.
and we are the children of the Forge.
I see.
You see the
Do
taller
you
figure
have
does
something
not
stuck
speak.
in your throat?
Not yet.
Dom raises an eyebrow at that. You just got
I
to
just
on the
look
side.
back and forth
eyebrows
from
at Dom.
Kez to Fungus and back to Kez.
Ned, why are you looking at me like that?
Anyway, this softer spoken fellow behind me is my brother. Sprung is sprung.
Are you related? Like my blood?
Yes! By divine blood!
Ah, I see.
I lean towards Dom and whisper, probably not very loudly. You know, he kind of sounds a little crazy.
Oh!
Dom,
You
just
don't
like,
think I'm crazy? You love me!
As
I would like to
okay.
make him love
oh,
me.
no.
Oh,
Oh
Alright.
no.
You the crazy one.
Ned,
roll
this is why you don't
diplomacy.
talk.
Would you say you're indifferent or unfriendly to me?
Indifferent, but a little uncomfortable.
I will take 10 and immediately make you helpful towards me.
Alright, Ned, you, as, Frungus speaks, you feel a slight, want to help him, he's an old childhood friend, not necessarily someone you fully feel like you're gonna invite every night to your house, but definitely someone you, are concerned for their well-being.
And real quick, because of a feat I have,
Oh no.
because I successfully improved a character's attitude towards me
Oh no.
to helpful, I now choose to cause that character to show romantic interest in me.
Ned, you are now slightly attracted towards Fungus. Take that as innocently as you will.
Ned's head kind of tilts and eyebrow raises a little.
He's
Hey,
gonna court
baby!
him like a bird, start giving him cool rocks and stuff.
Fuck yeah.
What you don't know is in Ned's grove, he gives deadly poisonous mushrooms to the people he cares for.
Oh.
No.
God
I think I
damn
gotta
it.
go do a thing over there, and Ned'll just like take off through the camp.
Make a nest.
Ned takes off into the camp.
Anyway, what is this place, brother? Why are we here?
We search for the enemy.
Ah, yes, the divine enemy.
What's your
Divine enemy of who?
I will say, as you mentioned that, Frungus and Sprungus's eyes seem to slightly glance over towards Eider. Just a little bit that looks to notice. As you look over, you do not see the hammer symbol you're looking for immediately. But with the heavy armor, it looks like the similar figure you remember being told about.
Interesting. Hello, little dwarf man.
I was just like still like an apoplectic shock, like finally like kind of like comes to it's like
What the fuck is going on here?
What god do you serve?
None really. You mentioned
You promise?
I mean, you keep getting cut off, and he doesn't even care.
oh, this is the most uncomfortable I've ever been in my life.
Oh, don't be uncomfortable.
I
We're having a
refuse.
great time.
I don't want to be
Just
here
like
anymore.
take a moment, like kind of like just oh god. Anyway, I'm sorry. You mentioned something about your religion. I was a little taken aback. What was it? Who is it that you followed?
Oh, I follow Daddy. Our Daddy.
Okay.
Can't you see the resemblance? We were born from a fucking mountain.
Are you not a craftsman?
Obviously not. He has no sense of taste.
like I was like, no, you see here, and like raise up, and you like see like fucking these Solarian
Could I
gauntlets.
go to stop him like subtly, like
No,
tap,
it's
like grip his
okay.
shoulder back?
Let him vie for my affection.
We are from the Stone Giant lands.
I've been meaning to meet a few of you now, although that plan may be a little bit less enticing now. But
Hey! Our people are nothing like me.
oh, well, that's a relief.
No, it's terrible. That's why we left.
Mm.
You see, this has been a very confusing chain of events. Can we start at the beginning? What are you guys here for? You seem to be looking for something. Is there something we can help you with?
And I don't see the hammer on this guy at all.
Getting closer to him and kind of get right in his space as you're kind of talking to him, looking him up and down. There's no sigil. You don't see any emanating aura from him that would give you the sign that it's the same individual. The only thing that you catch immediately is it's definitely he looks similar to the individual you're looking for. The face like almost fits perfectly.
Hey,
Have you ever
DM?
seen? Sorry.
Yes, Dom.
Can Dom squint at this, I assume, shorter elven
Yes.
He's
looking
5
person
foot.
and
You can call
can
me a
I
twink.
insight or can I sense motive?
Yeah.
Because
What are you trying to
these
gather?
are hella weird.
What are you trying to figure out?
What is going on with them? Like their entire vibe's weird. Dom wants to know: are they just insane, or is this all some weird act? And they're like
Hey,
trying to get some information or trying to get close to kill someone. Like Dom's alarm sensors are
So,
going off, and he's like,
if I'm
"This
understanding,
is
you're
something's not
thinking
right."
you're checking for hostility and if this is a performance. Okay, yeah, give me a sense motive.
Yeah, if this is an act and if they have ill intent.
All right.
Mostly the one talking.
Frungus, I will send you your rolls to resist. Give me a second. Poor Eider.
I'm having a day.
It's it's one after another, man. First a weird bard with a fancy musical instrument, and now you've got these two beings that are very unique.
Hey, now, only one of them is a problem so far.
As group leader, you must take all the worst things first, head on.
It's true.
So glad it's not on me anymore.
Yeah, NPC problems are always kind of handed off to the party leader amongst this crew. What'd you get?
I don't think it'll be anything great. I got a 16. I'm rolling kind of bad today, guys.
You sense no hostility from either figure, and nor are they seemingly putting on a performance. This is 100% of who they are as individuals.
Dom feels more concerned knowing it's not an act, but doesn't reflect it. He's just like looking at them, staring really hard at Eider, looking back at them, looking at Eider like, what are we gonna do? He's not speaking on his own.
Okay.
I am here looking for someone, well, a group. Do any of you know where the nearest followers of Oat are?
Oh yeah, that pussy.
I'm gonna need a real quick. Who the fuck is Otar?
So as you hear the name, give me a knowledge religion real quick.
Oh, Oat R, not Oat
No,
R.
no,
like
it's
name.
O. It's OT.
It's Oat. It's Oat.
Okay.
Like the thing you eat in the morning?
You hear Ned as he comes back.
I
Well,
did.
I got a.
Oh shit.
I
want
rolled
you
a
to know.
2, so that's a 15.
15.
The
okay.
23-foot creature is just staring at Ned. He's just
Right. 15, Eider, you think for a moment, you heard the name Oat mentioned a few times amongst the Frost Giants back in Velcomen. There was talks that the city that you're heading to, actually, at the end of this expedition, was originally where Oat was residing. However, there's also many rumors that you've heard that he disappeared. As far as his religion and stuff, the only thing you'd know is he's evil. Beyond that, there's not much else you'd recognize off the top of your head.
Gotcha.
Why are
You cut out Maya.
Dom kind of narrows his eyes.
Oh, Maya, you cut out. Just a heads up.
Ah, my bad.
Did they cut out again?
and I don't know.
That would have been.
I'm back.
Wait,
Hello?
welcome back.
Okay, my Discord had a mini crash. Apologies.
Oh, got you.
Hoping I didn't miss anything.
No, we just missed what you said completely. So.
Okay. I caught the information that Eider was given, and then Dom had asked the two new people why are you looking for them, and it kind of narrowed his eyes suspiciously.
They are a scourge and must die.
Ah, so we
They're
are like him
bad.
thinking then. Tom looks a little less enthused at that.
We will kill them for Daddy.
Mm. Well, kind of looks at Eider. We had recent run-in. We might know the general direction of a more powerful player on the board, but if I knew the nearest location of them, they'd have been taken care of.
Like pause, think for a moment. It's like, wasn't that old guy in the cave a fellow revoked?
No, his son, their mother, he like gestures his hand, wyvern, those. And they're also working with Jakix and who knows what the fuck else. Seems like all of the bad entities are working together, go figure. Kind
There's
of
also
pinches the
some.
brow a bit.
To make matters worse, I'm pretty sure there's some conflicting information there because they also worship the giant evil pyroclastic dragon that was dead.
Yeah, I don't listen. The kind of people who would worship Oat are the kind of people who would worship another evil dragon. So rest assured, they're probably putting their eggs in several baskets. But they're not here, not that we're aware of. So if you guys are looking for them, they might still be lurking in the Kobold lands.
Are you going in that direction?
Are we? After we check the map.
To King's End? The last city to Unfortonute? Yes, that's where the expedition's heading.
Yes, our expedition brings us towards there, actually. Not a big fan of it, but we're, what was it, King's End?
I just like
Right.
point in the direction. It's like we're heading that way.
Hearing they're going in that same direction, I look over at Fungus and just stare.
Oh no.
Yes, brother. I think we will travel with these folk. I have some questions for the small one.
Oh no.
Dom takes a step back, so Eider is kind of more at the front.
Proper introductions, then. I am Sprungus. I am the son of the Great Forge.
I like picks up like visibly. I was like, oh.
And I am Fungus, also the son of the Great Forge. And I'm the older brother.
You see, I'm assuming it's more of a reincarnation kind of video.
No.
Forge?
We were created and crawled out of the Forge of Father.
Absolute perfection given mortal form.
Well, most craftsmen are really eccentric. I'm sure it
What?
goes for deities as well.
I'm missing something here. Great Forge? Isn't that like a place?
God of competition.
Daddy!
Ah.
And crafting.
No, just competition.
But really?
Yep, actually,
Yes, really!
Eider has to
actually his only
reassess
domain
his
of competition is
No. Mr. Wait, what was your name, little one?
Oh, sorry, I was taken aback. I'm Eider Frosthorn.
I don't see why.
Just been a long day.
Long day. Well,
Several days.
little man, I'm looking for somebody who looks oh so like you. he happens to have this thing, and I'll turn around and pull down my pants and moon him. And on my ass, there is a tattoo of a beautiful ornate hammer. And under it, it says, hammering away for daddy. And
damn it.
I pull my pants back up and turn back around and go, a hammer! There's a guy who looks like you, who has a hammer that looks like that one. Do you know who he is?
Just like staring so blankly, like kind of amused,
that
but also
you?
really tired.
I just take 11 points of psychic damage.
Sure.
We are looking for Snowbeard wielding a hammer that acts on its own.
Eider, as you hear this mention, as I keep bringing this up, you can't help but think James comes to mind immediately, as you can just picture him laughing at you being in this situation.
Yep. And there's like, just another thing my cousin has put me into? Cool. I haven't come across that particular hammer. My cousin does bear a pretty strong resemblance to me, however. So I've been told.
Well, shit! Okay. Then it's out first. Brother, let us away. I'm sleepy.
Of course. I guess we're finding somewhere. I imagine with
Yeah,
my
we'll
size,
just sleep in the camp.
well, I imagine I can just become a living shelter. I'm that size and I'm made of rock.
Oh, for sure.
You two
Also,
might-
I don't need to sleep, so I'm just going to be watching them all night.
actually.
Oh,
To say, Dom considers informing Burr about what's happening, but then recalling the fact that A, she's probably possessed, and B, he already kind of disliked her. He just decides he's gonna just let this happen.
well, Burr pointed them over to your guys' camp when they came down.
So she's already cool with it. Well, we'll see how she feels about them traveling with us.
As as you watch, Sprungus kind of sits down, causing the ground to rumble beneath. As they do, Frungus kind of climbing. I imagine climbing onto Sprungus's shoulder and just kind of watching you lot. As well as the rest of the camp as they go. The rest of the camp seems to kind of give you lot a wide berth now.
Well, my lava doesn't hurt. I imagine I'm a walking space heater.
Yep, and the snow around the area is melting
sure
quite
Dom
quick.
Loves it as a fire giant, actually. It is like, good, I can lose a few layers. Slows my movement.
The snow.
It's getting hot in here.
Oh god. As the snow on the edges of the camp begins to melt away, as you kind of find yourselves set up, Eider, the heat increase does definitely feel kind of unwanted as you go from a nice balmy -50 at night to now what is almost 30 degrees as the entire area warms up.
Yeah, just to get Eider pouting in the background.
Oh, is that what you typed? Is that legit or let me?
No, that's sarcastic.
Okay, is that like all right? Cool, sure. I've players do it before. I have to ask, you know. All right. Yeah, as you gather back together, Ned continuing kind of giving glances over at Frungus as the night goes on. I assume you guys are not going to just let Frungus be your only lookout, so what's going to be the order of rotation for lookout?
I'll take first watch.
Okay.
I'm just going to go into apoplectic catatonia while
Alright.
take watch, I think.
Dom can take second.
Alright. All right, I'm not hearing a third, so we're just gonna split between two. So it's 4 hours up and 4 hours down for those who are taking up watch. So
No, I'll take the third.
you'll take third. Okay. All right. As you lot kind of begin to one by one find yourselves curling up for the night and relaxing. Frungus is driving, so I'm not gonna ask them to give me a roll right now. And so the person who's on watch, in this case, Kez, give me a spot and listen check.
All right. Rock and roll.
Wait, is Frungus driving our cart?
No, Frungus is driving their car.
Like in real life.
Oh,
It's okay. Yeah.
All right. So that is
You'll
a
robot.
And ask Siri.
Oh no! Please don't ask Siri. Go.
who's Siri?
26 spot, 18 listen.
Okay. As the first few hours go by, Kez, you kind of relax. Frungus seems to keep their eyes going across the camp, watching, kind of staring at a couple of groups that seem to start to come close, but as they seem to notice Sprungus's head turn to the creatures, or to the guardsmen and other adventurers, they seem to almost immediately turn away, leaving and avoiding your camp. A few of the camps seem to physically get up and move further away from you lot as the night goes on. Some looking as if they're trying to get away from the heat. Others that look to be just uncomfortable with the continuous glances from the two individuals. But as the first hours go on, nothing seems to happen. The low grumblings amongst the troops that you catch seem to be more about the fact that the two hotties, as they're called amongst the mercenaries, are unapproachable due to the heat. So as you kind of watch a few of the guards or a few of the adventurers who seem to be eyeing up both Frungus and Yukaz for the first two hours you're on watch, but as they seem to get close to the heat, almost causes them to walk away immediately. But as you watch, nothing seems to happen. Either as you Dom, since you're taking second watch, Dom, give me a listen and
Yes.
spot. Huh? Nope,
They
no
called
one.
me.
Of course.
No one came to talk to you. Sprungus makes a very good tower to seemingly
No, I'm
scare
glad
others away.
Fungus didn't come talk to me.
Frungus
minute.
does not seem interested in you at the moment.
That's two. Okay, so my listen is only a 9, but my spot is a 26.
Okay.
So I'm keenly looking, but not really hearing.
As you kind of watch, it's almost as if you will notice that Frungus and Sprungus seem to have an almost unnatural ability to alert each other. As it seems, Sprungus seems to stare kind of forward most of the time, almost passively. Although staring is a loose word, as the face on this individual is very hard to see any like emotion or interpretation of what they're looking at. As you kind of stare on for a moment, though, you do notice every time that someone seems to be kind of walking up within about 30 feet of the of your guys' camp, Frungus seems to almost do a slight twitch to his body, and Sprungus turns his head, causing the heat to almost shift as those individuals start to sweat more and visibly walk away. Though as this continues on, it does seem that one individual seems to be keeping an eye on you. That you notice rather not just one, but about a group of 5 yellow hooded figures that seem to be standing about 50 feet away from you, in between two camps that have set up with some other adventurers who seem to kind of crawled into their carts to pass sleep for the night. As they seem to wear these strange dark masks, they just seem to be locked onto your camp, but not moving or doing anything, Dom.
Can I, with that 26, discern any logos or symbols or suggestions of if they're like a guild or affiliated with one?
From what you can tell with the immediate appearance, is with their designs, they look to be similar to what you've seen on some of the other members of the Pack of Smiles mercenary group. Though you had seen a few of them wearing these that were following around Valthana, they seem to have dissipated once she had come to your camp, and you hadn't noticed any of them until just now.
Okay. Wall sat there. So Frungus is just like, is he staring at someone specifically, or is he staring at like everyone?
Oh, he seemed to be looking
Every
about.
time you look,
Mhm.
I'm staring at you. My
Cool.
eyes
Dom is
follow
stare-
whoever looks over at me.
Cool. So Dom's gonna look at you. You're gonna look back, and I imagine there's just a moment or two of just pure silence as it's like Dom's kind of sizing you up, still wary. You're just doing whatever the fuck you're doing, and Dom just
Wiggling
kind of
my
finally
eyebrows furiously.
Dom kind of raises one of his and will speak up. So, heads up if you're traveling with us. You haven't killed us yet. That can be changed, of course, but I assume you plan to aid us as long as we aid you. So,
Hey,
if you're going to be.
listen, man. I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Oh, he's a lover, all right.
I
Well.
wish no ill intent on you.
That's good.
Actually,
Dom
real
kind of
quick,
does not seem
what
good.
god do you follow?
I don't serve a god.
Hooray!
I
We're
serve.
best friends now.
That's cool. Seems like a low bar, but I'm not glad to pass. You should know that we are. He kind of leans in a bit and lowers his voice, although I'm sure no one's really close enough for it to carry. We're wanted. We stopped the arrival of a rival god of yours, it seems. Those who follow the cataclysm and those of a similar ilk wish our death.
I will say,
so...
as Dom Nander goes to say cataclysm, you watch as their body seems to seize up, and almost as if their veins start to protrude and their muscles start to tighten. Their body seems to almost go into the shock for a moment as it then dissipates. Dom, you feel a strange pull from your neck for a moment as this entire feeling washes over you of your muscles tensing, and then it dissipates.
Dom
Ooh, are
kind of
you
has
okay,
his teeth
friend?
gritted and just looks incredibly pissed for a moment and then kind of calms his emotions. There's an evil entity, a rival god, whose followers seek us out. We've got a bit of bad blood. So if you're gonna be hanging around, if you're not a fighter, I would be cautious. If they see you as a...
baby. That is amazing. Okay?
Right. Mm-hmm.
We don't have to find them.
Certainly not. We
Was
seem
there
to... In
something
fact,
else you wanted?
well, I suppose it's not important, and I have Aether to wake up if you don't feel inclined to answer. But I do want to know more about why you've chosen to hunt down Oat's followers. People don't tend to like them who know of them, but not many people know of them.
All in good time, my boy. All in good time.
Dom looks very unimpressed with this answer. Right. Well, when you're willing to have a conversation, I might be of some use. Till then, I'll be sleeping. And he goes to stand up and, I don't know, I guess he has to get back down to his knees to wake up Eider because Eider's gonna be so low down on the ground.
Wow, why do you gotta call the poor guy out like that? You know? He didn't do anything to
Eider, can
you.
you hear me from up here? It's your shift. No, yeah, I'll go wake Eider up.
Yes, you kind of lean over into the wagon, seeing Eider asleep in his armor. Kind of wakes up almost unimpressed looking at you as he just stares.
I have ears.
Hey,
They work.
good, because my eyes have detected we're being watched, so Good thing your ears are keen. Kind of pats your shoulder and we'll start climbing to the cart. 5 figures to the rightish. Probably more of the same people who want to kill us. Yada yada. So like starting to get ready for bed as he talks.
I'm just gonna groan, flop out of bed, look over to like the direction Dom had like mentioned.
As you look over, there's nothing there.
Or maybe it was left in vicinity.
As you see Dom kind of curling up already into the blanket and like eyes closed, already like half asleep as they just like
passed out.
yeah. As you climb out, you see as Frungus and Sprungus are kind of just staring at you for a moment, or at least their faces are towards you as you kind of make eye contact with both of them. However, as you look about the camp, the fire's still going. The sticks or the logs are well dried out now due to the heat, and it's a little warm as you don't feel the need to put on your cold weather clothing once more.
I don't have any of those to begin with. I'm a fucking snowbeard.
That's true, but you definitely don't need it now as it's warming up here. A little bit of a sweat as you step out of the cart.
Like skin down a little bit. I'm just gonna like sigh, like take my like watch on like a little stump or something. And just like idly like pick at like I don't know, pack of like vellum or something, just like jotting down plans for crafting ideas and crap while I wait.
Give me
Keep
a
watch.
give me a spot and listen check. Let's see if you notice anything interesting. Oh no, Sprungus is typing something.
I think I'd never be good.
Yeah. Oh, I fully thought Sprungus rolled the 20. I was like, wait, what? Oh.
Alright, spot 27 for listen. Technically a 1. I don't know if it matters.
Alright. As you kind of watch... Wait, so 20's listen, or in the 7 is spot?
Yes.
Okay, make sure I heard that right. Okay, cool. As you kind of watch, it's hard to take your eyes off, like, the naked Frungus as they just are kind of squat there, and everything's there. It's just not that it's like attractive or it's interesting. It's like a car accident. You just can't seem to look away as every time you look over, it's just there. As you kind of almost find yourself slightly distracted, listening around or kind of focusing in instead, listening to the like winds on the air and kind of as you start whittling away, giving up on trying to look about the camps. So with the heavy fire in front of you, it's quite hard to see further out into the darkness of that surrounds you. Clear skies, though, with the heavy stars above kind of dotting about. As you begin to kind of whittle or work away at writing down some of the plants, some crafting concepts, any metals that look to be of note, and kind of going through some of the rocks on the ground to see if there's anything that looks like it indicates minerals or mineral deposits. As you kind of start investigating this, listening about, you hear the soft snoring of Ned and the 3 goslings inside the wagon. The sounds of Dom kind of snoring and the occasional bump of Dom's fist against the cart as they seem to be fighting in their sleep. The complete, almost absolute no sound of Kez as it's almost, as you realize you haven't ever heard Kez make a sound when they sleep. Though as you kind of take a second to look into the cart, you see them fully passed out, a what looks to be a little holy book kind of covering their face as they seem to be lightly kind of breathing, their chest still going up and down.
I'm an elegant sleeper.
Yeah. It helps when you've lost like a few feet and now can actually fit in one of these wagons.
Comes with the curse.
Yeah. But as you kind of listen, you do hear the occasional grumbling from the other guards and some of the other adventurers and soldiers. Something about the tricking from some of the black scales. Some of the soldiers seemingly coming back late into the night now, because as you can tell, the sun's going to be up in a few hours at this point, either. As you hear them talk about something like gambling debts to the black scales, something about them cheating. And the last thing that kind of catches your attention is that something about a fight between Kazasi and Valthana happening. Be about a debt, although it's hard to tell what the debt's about as they walk past. As you continue to kind of sit there, you hear and see the sun kind of rise as in the distance these sounds of howling wolves kind of starts to pick up on the wind. The camp seems to come alive as many of the winter wolves that are pulling the carts seem to be joining the howling, waking up a lot of the camp as it does so. As we come to the next day on the 10th of the bloodied month.
Set off the alarm.
Wake up, guys. Time to pray.
I'm always praying.
All right, time to pray for some spells.
Praying for my enemy's downfall.
As Kez begins saying a quiet prayer in the background.
Dom gets up and does his daily routine of like monk stretches, bit of meditation, some practice punches,
Dom,
warming up the muscles.
Every morning, your hands always hurt from sleeping in this damn wagon. So far, like this is the second time this has happened, or first time this happened, but it's just weird that your hand hurts so much.
You think if I punched the wagon enough, my fist would become lucky, but no, just bruised.
Quit punching the wagon, Dom.
You see as Ned comes out, hair everywhere, the goslings seemingly also plumaged out as they stick their heads out.
I mean, if you guys, they might not have anything of our size, but you guys probably go ask the flock if they have any spare, like, tents or something. It seems like they're very well supplied.
I enjoy it
But
more
the
out
tents
here, to
aren't
be honest.
lucky.
I mean, at least
Or
for Ader's
indestructible.
sake, to have a tent of his size.
We got a bedroll.
He fits easily into the wagon. We jam him
I know,
in
but if
whatever
he's not in
corner
there,
we don't
must-
occupy.
Listen, if he's not in there, then I get more room in the wagon.
It does
Do you want to
surprisingly.
kick out Ned or me?
The
Take
wagon
up
seems
more
to
space?
fit perfectly. A giant on like a full fire giant on either end, and about a 2/3 of a giant and a dwarf right in the middle seem to fit almost perfectly to scale.
How lucky is that?
Yeah.
How incredibly lucky.
Though to Ider's own credit, Ider, when going in there, sometimes you're either you got either Kez's head that is next to you at night, where you hear the slight, quiet snoring that you know is there. But no one else believes you, or you get the smell of Kez's feet when he sleeps on the other end.
I made the mistake of sleeping next to Dom one time and nearly got punched and was like, no thanks.
Yeah, now never putting his head in
You
that
got
direction.
suplexed. Dom started to suplex you in his sleep and you were like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And now Dom's forced to the end.
Cool.
I
No,
tap
I'm
out.
not. I'm sleeping in the car with y'all. Y'all are like my kidnapping buffer.
I agree. As much as sleeping in people's vicinity is a little tiring, it's probably, well, we would be screwed with a spell that affected an area, but let's be honest, most spells would kill us if we had tents close to each other. So this way, at least if someone starts getting killed, we all know. Kind of shrugs.
I will say, as you're having this whole conversation, Frungus and Sprungus are just watching you lot.
Yeah.
I think I've gotten like softly used to like just the creepy factor at this point.
You could
Hello.
you could use my tent. I don't use it.
Look at that, Kez. A
How
whole
big is your
room to
tent?
yourself.
Oh, well, considering I'm size
It's
huge.
big enough for everybody.
So, what's for breakfast? What are we doing here? Because I know the meals are provided by the
Yep.
expedition.
As you say that, looking out, you do see and you can smell the scent of something cooking. The sweet scent that kind of catches your attention. You recognize this as a very common frost giant food. It's called beans and potatoes.
Oh man, I fucking love beans and potatoes.
Basically, since those are the only two things that seem to grow much in the frost giant lands naturally as a vegetable, and being that as mixed with boar meat are the two are the most common amongst the dish. However, you don't smell any meat.
And legumes. What are the best food groups?
But you do
Lots of
see
farts.
you do see a couple of frost giants kind of walking about with what looks to be large white hats, kind of indicating themselves as cooks to the people to come to as they're walking to each of the camps, kind of dropping off. Your camp, as you've noticed, has kind of seemingly not migrated anywhere personally, but everyone else's has gone like almost a good 80 feet away from yours and reformed around themselves.
Hey, that's weird. I wonder what that could have been.
As you see one of the people kind of coming over, you see a green-skinned fellow with a very long beard, a bit of a cut eye. He looks older and like more troll-like, a bit larger. As he comes over and puts down some slop on a heavy silver bowl and kind of hands one to each of you. Looks over at Sprungus and Frungus and goes, do you eat?
Yes, and we will be having the finest of your food, please.
So, I, knowing we were going to travel, Frungus, I have ranks in cooking. I'm prepared for that.
Incredible.
You watch as he just kind of looks at you as you say this. Sprungus kind of staying quiet and just takes a big a scoop out of the center of the bowl of what you now look at. It looks like a grayish brown paste with a couple of potatoes sticking out of it, and he just splatters it into the bowl and hands the two up to you and goes, "The finest for His Majesty."
No! No, I want meat! Give me meat, please!
Sprungus is going to...
It kind of looks at you as Sprungus stands up, still with Frungus on his shoulder, and goes, "Okay, good luck," and turns and starts carrying away the pot after dropping a couple more splats of bowls to each of you, to Kez.
Oh, thank God. I was about to, like, he just fucking leaves without giving us.
Yeah.
No, we get
God
to eat.
damn it.
It's like, fuck you guys.
Like, shit.
He kind of looks at Sprungus as he stands up, as he kind of, almost as you see the troll kind of holds his head, kind of takes his head in his hand for a minute and goes, "Understood. Jeez, don't say that." And he kind of starts to walk away. A few minutes later, you watch as he comes back with a couple of heavy slabs of what look to be boar meat, about the size, about 7 feet wide and about 5 feet in length. As they come out and like heavy slabs of just raw meat, and he sets it out, still with a bit of fur on the top of it as the chunks haven't been fully skinned, and kind of leaves it there and just looks up at Sprungus and kind of bows and walks away.
Thank you, baby!
You see the troll just looks up, kind of stops, looks up at Frungus, and kind of just seems to nod and then turns and continues walking.
Sprungus, please cook our meal.
Hey, don't worry. Of anything I could nat 20 on, it's on cooking.
Did you really? Yeah, as you watch, Sprungus pulls out a group of what look to be very fancy cooking utensils, knives made of fancy iron with little bits of gold inlay. You see what looks to be magic runes designed into them with bits of lyrium themselves. The blades almost coming to life as they each come out of their little like section of the satchel, as they seem to start to float around. Sprungus, without even speaking, seems to grab one of the smaller knives and begins to prepare, and the other blades seem to work in unison as the meat begins to be prepared. Elegantly skinning it off, taking any chunks that look to be bad and beginning to tenderize the meat. You watch as even before it hits the fire to cook, the smell of it, the meat is seemingly coming to life as Sprungus gets to work. By the end of it, it sears, cuts, and seems to now have a strange sauce that is made with the mix of the beans and potatoes onto it to give it a bit more of a thicker flavor as chunks are cut up.
I just look down at my potato girl sadly.
As Ned's watching Sprungus butcher, he's just looking horrified. He stops for a moment, looks at Frungus, looks a little at ease.
Looks back.
Back horrified again. Keeps happening.
To your horror, Ned, you watch as the goslings seem to go chasing after the chunks of meat that Sprungus tosses to the side as bad meat, tearing at and like fighting over it.
I lower
As
a very...
undead, I kind of expected it.
I lower a small plate to my brothers.
Thank you.
You watch as... Oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, yeah, go ahead. You're good.
I am so sorry you all had to witness me lie, but I really don't eat. Honestly, you strike me as fun people, and if followers of different gods are coming to hunt you down, I think the least we can do in return to stay with you is cook you a good meal.
Tom seems like pleasantly surprised that his little conversation actually led to something productive.
I set out like a platter of this meat on this like large wooden board, basically.
Yeah, as you watch, although each piece of meat seems to have had its center chunk cut out specifically to be handed to Frungus on a platter, the rest of the meat seems to be set out, still well prepared and still quite great quality. It just seems to be the finest cuts were kept aside as it's set in front of you lot. The 2 plates seem to be massive, enough to probably fill you for a whole day as you look at the amount of meat between a lot of you. Ned, the meat there. This meat is almost the size of like one of your legs. Looking at this,
A single tear drops from Kezenok's eye. Thank you.
Yeah, Eder gives the dwarven thanks, which is eating.
Yeah, say Dom already ate the bowl of gruel and is going in for like seconds and thirds, like packing on those calories. Like, it's food, he's eating it.
Kezenok will be very modest.
Ned does that thing where he acts like he's eating the meat, but then he like spits it down, drops it down for the goslings.
Yeah, like kind of turns and tosses it off the plate any chance he can get, you know.
And if Fungus isn't touching his bowl of slop, I'll just like start sliding it my way.
Yes, of course, honey, you can have mine.
No, he starts kind of wolfing down the second batch. You lot kind of enjoy a great meal, feeling yourselves almost filled to the brim. This is the biggest meal you've had in probably days, if not weeks, at this point. Its fine quality and the amount of meat in this is shockingly quite a surprise to your stomach. As you all find yourselves quite full. With that, you will gain plus 10 temp HP until your next long rest.
Yo! Incredible.
As the caravan the expedition begins to pack up camp and starts to gather itself, getting everything moving, you watch as a few of the other expeditionary groups, the mercenary groups, seem to be kind of splitting a little bit further apart. The Black Hand seems to be taking the front of the expedition, while the Pack of Smiles seems to be slowly falling to the back. With the Flock of Justice staying in the center, where most of the adventurers and kind of like freelance soldiers and mercenaries seem to kind of be mostly sticking around.
Gotcha. We're on patrol duty, so I guess that means we have to go up front, because that seems like the place that's not being watched.
All right. As you lot take up patrol, let's go ahead and have some search checks. You get nominate a party member who's going to be doing it for this situation to keep it easy. See what you guys find.
I think I've got the better search check out of the party, unfortunately.
Okay.
Can I, rather than searching, would I be able to keep an eye out for hazardous things out in the nature?
Yeah, I'll take a survival check for that. I think that's fair.
Survival, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Could give like the help or the aid another?
That's what I'm setting up for. Yeah, is the assumption I was gonna have 17.
Cool.
Okay. 19. All right. As you lot begin kind of splitting off from the camp, turning your cart to the left and heading wide around the trees, you begin to find yourselves kind of further and further away as you do so. It seems as if you're being watched almost creepily, as you all can't help but shake this strange feeling. As the day continues, you find yourselves... And let me roll something. You know what? Kez, since I didn't have you roll anything on this one, let's have you give me a d4.
For sure.
Dun 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 dun. 3.
3. Okay. All right. As you lot find yourself coming towards what looks to be an unmarked small lake, further off to the east, about 5 miles outside of the main expedition, still being able to hear them at this point and see the large like smoke or stacks of smoke kind of coming off from some of the carts that are seemingly set up with furnaces or something to keep them those inside warm. Heading out towards the deep trees, you find this unmarked lake that you can see has a small camp already almost set up. As it looks like there's a couple of tents, some bedrolls set out, as well as what looks to be almost an island in the center of the lake. Tiny enough to what looks to house a small like wagon or cart. Though as you look over, nothing seems to be there. Looking about the lake from the distance, as you find yourselves going through the thick trees, you don't see anybody. But with the nature, Ned, you do notice there seems to be thick tracks, kind of almost not as if like footprints, but something dragging itself through the snow. As I will, and actually, never mind. I'm just checking something here. There we go. Okay.
I would point them out.
All right. As you point over, you all see there's roughly about 6 distinct tracks that Ned seems to identify. Roughly as it looks to be, these creatures seem to intertwine themselves, kind of going crisscrossing around each other. The tracks seem to go wide around where you're at currently, where you're walking currently, and then seem to circle towards the camp as Ned seems to kind of point out along the snow line. Which I will mention is getting harder to follow the tracks due to Sprungus's quite warm personality.
Oh no. Looking over the tracks, does anything jog my memory as far as like being able to possibly identify, make and model, as it were?
With with Ned's roll, he couldn't tell. As far as it goes, give me. I'll take a knowledge nature from you as well if you want to try.
Sure, let's go for it. $30.
30. As you kind of look about, it looks to be almost unnatural. As you look at the sides of the snow, it seems as if the legs or whatever was dragging itself through here seem to be getting thinner as it goes, but seems to then suddenly expand once more, catching your attention. That means that you recognize this creature must be regenerating as it's going around. The only other thing is that there's no distinct marks at the bottom. It just of the track. It looks to be just a solid square, as if maybe a brick or some sort of stone was worn.
Like it's dragging something, kind of?
Maybe, yeah, potentially.
Gotcha. You said there was like 6 distinct tracks, sets of these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's weird. I like turn to the others and say that those tracks are really irregular. Seems like it's dragging something. Any ideas? That's almost seems like something from the Underdark or something weird like that to me.
So, are we near? We're near where the apex was rumored to be, right? Near the lake.
Yes. Well, no, you haven't found that lake. This seems to be an unmarked lake on the map. You're still within about a day and a half's march from Velkomen. So.
Okay. Yeah, Dom kind of squints his eyes. We shouldn't be close enough for that apex, and none of the monsters they theorized it could be would fit these sort of tracks. Does it? Are the tracks perfectly straight, or do they kind of move side to side?
It seems they do crisscross around each other. You do. I will note there seem to be bipedal in whatever they are. As you look at, from what you guys have noted together between the two rolls. As far as swaying, as the snow is melting, it's hard to tell, but it looks as if the creature seemed to be standing straight up.
Okay. Hmm.
And just to reiterate, it seems like it's going towards the camp.
Yep. On the other side of the lake.
As in, like, it's going to intersect with that camp, or
No, not with the expedition. I mentioned there was a camp on the other side of the lake, campsite.
Sorry.
Yeah.
An empty.
So I was just
seemingly
making
empty
clear
camp.
it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't. It does seem to be going towards that, not towards the expedition.
Mm.
Got
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we should warn them about this, or just keep an eye on it? Doesn't seem to be heading our way, but that's gonna always change.
I kind of shrug. I don't think that they're going to go out of their way for it, and it doesn't seem to be attacking immediately. It tries to attack the entire body of things, and that just doesn't seem likely.
I
I'd
agree.
also just rather not pick a fight when it doesn't seem like it's necessary. It's a very weird creature, but it doesn't seem like it's going out of its way to, like, hunt any of us.
At least yet. Perhaps we make sure we're in the middle when we set up tent tonight.
Just kind of shrug and nod and say, besides, the last time we went into a house in the middle of the woods, it didn't go so great.
Kez and Ned remembering the great snowbeard that you stabbed with a silver sword and tried to shove in a
To be
bedroll.
fair, it went great for us. Morals aside, and the ethics of how that interaction went, it went great for us, and we got the rewards we need for our quest out of it. Do I think this camp will achieve the same results? Likely not, but it went great for us last time. Might need a better metaphor there.
I was more referring to the aftermath. And you see, like, inward wincing from the blood rain.
I look up. Is there anywhere above the camp that bodies could be thrown from?
No. It's clear skies. You're not near the mountains or anything
Yeah.
like that at this point, so.
Well, I think we're okay on the falling giant corpses front.
Look, it happens once. You develop a little bit of a phobia. All right.
Dom kind of shrugs. I'm sure a little desensitized to it, given where he grew up.
I don't know. We did get
You know-
literally showered with corpse parts, like, not just seeing it.
So are we not searching for this beast?
Correct if I'm wrong, but we don't necessarily have to for the
Nope.
expedition.
You're just your goal is to make sure it's not going to affect the expedition, and determine whether or not the thing's a threat. And if it is, eliminate it. If not, you don't technically have to.
Okay. Gotcha. It's that middle part that I think is a little tricky bit, because we don't know if it's not a threat. It just hasn't been a threat.
Do you want to fight this fungus? Because you told me you were a lover last night.
I don't know. Only if it. What?
He is a lover. I am a fighter.
Do you want to fight this fungus?
I get tingles every time he says that.
Isn't that your own brother?
Yes.
Yeah, Dom kind of gets a look.
Those tingles. Get your mind out of the
Ader,
gutter,
that's pretty
Eider.
weird, Ader. That's pretty weird, man.
I don't want to hear a
Fucked up.
single thing about being weird next to this person. I refuse.
Next to who? I turn around.
So help me God, Kez, I will
There's
sell
like a
you out to
random bard in
Zilpip.
the back.
Don't you even.
That's also pretty weird to do later. That's pretty
What
evil,
are you
actually.
all? I'm confused. What are you all talking about? As I look around everyone.
Oh, let's like point to like the cabin, or sorry, the camp in like on the lake, and then down to like where there was snow.
Mhm.
There's an odd sort of entity that seems to be dragging something. Nearest I can tell, its anatomy seems unnatural, regenerative. It's bizarre either way. And it's just dragging a very large something behind it. It seems to be going that way. And I point to the camp and the cabin and everything. But there's not actually a cabin. Sorry, am I just like
It's just a tent.
transposing?
Yeah, no, it was just a tent. You're good. Yeah, a tent, a couple of bedrolls that are laid out, what you can tell, and what looks to be a burnt out fire pit that's been extinguished for quite a while.
Well, it's probably just a friend.
We're in the middle of nowhere. Nothing is a friend.
Everything is a friend, dear boy. Except
We.
heretics.
I couldn't. Dom
Don't
kinda
worry,
leans
I'm
down
not
towards
talking
Iron
about
and-
you, pretty boy. And I look over at Kez.
Please don't look at me like that.
Oh, now it's not cool.
You are not my type, man.
Oh, thank God.
Too womanly.
Oh God. As you kind of look about, I will say you do see as the tent across the lake seems to kind of the flap opens for a moment, and what looks to be a shadowy figure somewhat appears for a moment, sticking its head out, and then seems to go back in, closing the tent once more.
It's like it's a vampire killer.
Occupied.
Friend.
As Frungus shouts.
I lean
I
down towards Dom. If we stealth, we can let them take all the attention, and if shit goes south, we won't be the ones that are attacking.
I feel like Kez and Air look at each other at the word stealth.
I'll roll stealth. I will be the one. The single person in the party.
I feel the need to follow after him.
Do you love watching him run, Ned?
I
For no
look at
reason
Frungus.
particular?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to go to the tent?
Yes. Let's go talk to our new maybe friend.
Be careful on the frozen lake. I think your friend might melt through it.
Would you like to come with, small one?
Which
I
one?
think. Well, you have to clarify who you're talking to, because we're all relatively small compared to you.
You're very small compared to me, Eider.
I know that. He didn't say very small. He just said small one.
Looking at
It doesn't
you,
help when your size category larger than everyone.
look at
He's got a point. He's got a point. But yeah, as you look over at Eider saying this,
I just gotta sigh. Like this life is suffering. I was like, well, I do have to make sure it's not a threat.
I'll set my hand, palm up on the floor right in front of you.
Eider, out of the side glance, you can't help but notice Ned looks slightly disappointed that he was not the one that Sprungus was referring to.
I'm sorry, Ned.
We just lost
looking
Sprungus.
at my feet, shuffling them.
There he is. As Ned shuffles his feet, Dom begins to hide in the back into the snow. What snow is still left as Sprungus takes Eider and Frungus around the lake. Kez just kind of standing there watching from the forest as this
I'll go
happens.
with him.
Oh, you're gonna go with him? Okay. All right.
I'm flying.
Yeah, we're
over.
going over.
They're gonna fly over. Oh, okay.
Oh,
All
I guess
right.
we gotta walk.
I'm gonna say
Ke-
around is for pussy.
Kez, Ned, and Dom, I guess you're walking around the lake. It's gonna take you a little bit of a minute, but as you watch The Sprungus kind of gets to the edge, and as you think he's about to jump into the water, he seems to jump in the air, wings kind of expanding out once more that you from earlier or that you had seen earlier, and jumping across the lake almost in a single bound with his wings as he lands in front of the tent, almost immediately leaving a loud quake as he does. The ground slightly rumbling as he comes to a stop. Kez, Ned, and Dom, as you come around, Kez and Ned not really caring about stealth as you come around jogging, the snow seems to kind of melt, or begin to melt further ahead as you're able to kind of push through. The slushy snow is a little bit cold as it hits you in the worst places as the water kind of catches into your armor, Kez. Ned, the cold water hitting your feet and kind of soaking the shoe wraps that you have around your feet as you get a nice little chill going. As Dom kind of finds themselves climbing through the snow, following after quietly behind the trees. All right, as you lot kind of gather around moments later, as Sprungus stands there, letting everyone down. The tent flap opens immediately as you see a gray-skinned hill giant with a little bit of a short brown beard, two dark brown eyes looking out at you lot. As he looks up and looks down at Eider, and then over to Frungus on Sprungus's shoulder, and then to Sprungus, and goes, do you speak common, or are you monsters here to kill me?
No,
Hello, friend.
And then he goes to say something. Frungus keeps saying, oh, I don't want to be your friend.
Yes, you do.
Would you like to be my...
I want to roll to make him be my friend.
Okay, roll diplomacy.
Is he actively hostile towards me?
Technically, no.
I'll take 10, and he is helpful towards me. I will not make him attracted to me, though.
Boo.
I would say he'd be unfriendly in this situation, but sure, we'll go.
No, hey, unfriendly. My taking 10 automatically makes them helpful.
Oh, okay, good to know. I did not know that. All right.
Yep.
As you kind of look at him and say this, he kind of looks up at you and goes, I still don't want to be your friend, but what do you need?
Well, now I look to Eider.
You see his head turns too with expectation as Kaz and Ned come kind of around the lake edge.
I was just like give myself like a deep tissue massage of my forehead. So did this guy con evil or no?
Let me double check something to confirm. You said evil?
Yeah.
Yes. In this case, the aura is fate, from what you can tell.
Okay. It's probably mundane evil. I'd just like give him like a quick up and down, considering for a moment. Says, well, part of the scout for an expedition that's coming by, making sure that we're clearing the way of any and all potential hazards. You wouldn't happen to be a hazard, would you?
As you look him up and down, you can't help but notice he's keeping his body kind of covered behind the tent flap, only allowing his neck and head to be seen. He kind of looks at you for a minute and goes, no, I didn't know there were people coming through here. I'm just passing through to the collective.
I'd like to sense motive.
He kind of looks about at you all. Yeah, go ahead and give me a sense motive.
Just call me Domander. Oh, there we go.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
25. As you take a second and kind of look at him. When are you trying to venture from this?
2 parts. Is he a threat, and is he actually going to the collective?
Immediately as you kind of take a look at him, the only people you've met of the collective were the representatives back at court. They always wore white robes, were very well dressed, looking very scholarly. This individual is gruff, does not show, you can't see his body currently, so you don't see any indications of any robes around his neck that catch your eye. As far as hostility goes, he does not seem outright hostile at the moment. He does seem to be slightly tensed, though your suspicion is maybe due to the fact that a giant stone statue, a small twunk, and a dwarf just showed up at his doorstep in the middle of the forest, where he, from what he stated, seemed to not expect anyone to be. You can imagine that'd probably throw you a little fear and concern as well, if it was a you in that situation.
You do not look like you're going to the collective.
This man's land or property is not in like the route of the road being built, right?
Correct.
Gotcha. I didn't want to eminent domain this guy. That's all.
Okay.
You're getting evicted today.
Yeah. As Kez, Ned, and Dom come up, Dom coming out of the shadows as they do to join you a lot. He kind of looks up at you and goes,
Oh no, I'm sneaking up.
Oh, okay. Yes, my robes are not with me at the moment. Traveling through these lands, are quite dangerous, and a giant dancing bear had come through and stolen half of my camp a few weeks ago. I managed to scrounge up what I could from a few unfortunate adventurers that were coming through the area, as he looks at his tent and the bedrolls outside.
I'm just kind of
Are
nod.
you naked?
No.
There's no reason to be ashamed. Just
Look,
imagine all of us naked.
I don't really. He kind of looks at you, Frungus, looks you up and down, and goes, I don't think that'll be too difficult. As he looks back over to Ida and goes, so if everything's fine, I don't plan to be a bother to your group. I just was taking shelter for the night. I plan to move on and continue my journey. I have a friend who stays at an inn nearby. He has a fancy silver sword that I had loaned him a few years back, that I plan to pick up.
Just kind of nod, and then like the thing I said in chat, I was like, I idly flick the guy like a silver coin.
He'll take the silver coin and pocket it. Yes, Dom?
I was say, as they're talking, the man's engaged. Can Dom kind of like move around, like sort of sneak around, just to see if he can get a glimpse of the guy to confirm if the guy is in fact just naked and embarrassed, or if he's like hiding something?
Yeah, give me a search check.
Cool. Dom's just doing this as they're like talking about whatever's happening. Dom's tuning this all out.
Yeah, as he reaches out to grab it, you do notice his hand is covered in a black glove, as well as the wrist seems to be covered in full brown cloth that seems to cover his entire body. In 11, Dom, he seems to be covering himself quite well with this tent flap, keeping his body quite close to the tent, seemingly trying not to be seen.
Am I that guy? I might be that.
Be that guy.
Kez is over here, like, waiting, looking at his hammer, looking at the individual, looking at his hammer, it looks like.
No. I hold no ill intent towards this man at the moment.
Okay, I saw the water, so I was curious.
No, that's me being afraid.
Oh, okay.
Because of his friend that and the silver sword.
He brutally murdered his other friend?
Yeah.
No, we cool.
Okay. He continues as he takes the coin into his back into the tent, retracting his hand. He goes, "So, did you need something from me, or do you want my proof of documentation amongst the collective? I have an invitation letter with me, signed by them."
I mean, if you possess the letter, we definitely would be interested in seeing it.
You're not gonna
how it is.
steal it, right?
No, I like turn to like the rest of like the party and say, To be honest, if we had ill intent, it would be very trivial. I think we're not here for any sort of malfeasance. Sorry, that means bad things.
Kind of looks at you for a second and raises an eyebrow and goes, I was quite a capable scholar back home. I understand. I don't think I would have made it this far if that wasn't the case. But sure. He kind of leans back, kind of closing the tent flap for a moment as he pulls his head back in. A moment later, you hear a little bit of rustling as he kind of comes back out, his head sticking out as he once again lets his hand out just far enough to produce a letter of papyrus with the seal of the collective on it.
Hey, so you said you were a scholar, right?
He nods.
Did you have a specific field, or were you just learned in all sorts of things?
Undead mostly is what I study. Necromancy is. I came from Zurit's court originally when I was doing some time there, but you've probably heard the news of his failings and being out of a job now.
Ah, okay, I see. So I mean, since you dealt with undead, and you might not know much about this specific topic, but I thought I'd ask anyways. So, in passing, me and my group have seen black coins.
He looks at you with an eyebrow raised and goes, okay.
I was wondering if you might know anything about these black coins.
There calorium coins that are made with black
No,
calorium quite often.
Not colorium. It appears, from what I felt, to have a soul in them.
He kind of looks at you and goes, no, I'd never heard of such a thing. That would be a quite advanced form of magic. Maybe the Snowbeards, he kind of glances over at Eider and goes, would have probably a better understanding of the concept. I only practice in necromancy magic. I don't deal in that kind of degree of understanding.
Guys, this is me as Hunter the player talking to y'all. I don't know what I'm going to do here. This guy's a necromancer. So I actually...
Can I sense
Is he
motive?
moral?
Yeah.
Check if he's a moral necromancer.
Yeah.
Maybe he's one of the consensual ones.
Does Ned's fucking spear go off?
Yeah, I was about to say.
It doesn't, which is why I'm sense motive.
I mean, maybe he's not just a necromancer anymore, and that's why it's not going off.
Quick,
Ned
quiz
doesn't
him.
know.
Ned, the only thing that kind of comes to your attention that's fishy is, well, Fungus made the cook listen, and he seemed to lose his hostility. Maybe it's the same thing as what Fungus had done earlier. Maybe this guy's attracted to Fungus, just like you secretly are trying to hide it from yourself now.
I clenched my quarterstaff a little tighter.
What's your thing do? What does it say when it comes to alerting you about necromancers?
When I use near necromancers, it begins to glow all across as if it were cracked from within.
Gotcha.
And it says necromancers are classified as anyone who is either a dread necromancer class or has specialized into the school of necromancy.
Okay, scratch that. I forgot about that. Yes, it does start to glow.
Ah, okay.
Sorry, I forgot about a certain little stipulation on that.
So I guess we all see Ned's thing glow. What's the plan, guys?
I mean, he's minding his own business in the woods.
Eider was cool destroying the soul coins, but this evil guy will
We're just fucking walk up like the Spanish Inquisition. And be like,
We are
we
the
think you're guilty of
Inquisition.
thought crime. Die.
Well, it's not exactly
We're
guilty of
the
thought
Roman
crime.
Empire. We're paving the
This man
road.
is a necromancer. It's not exactly a thought crime.
This is Utham's kingdom now.
Well, to be fair, in my case, it is a thought crime because I detect him as evil, but I detect him as weak evil. Like
Then you should
he's just
say
a
he's a
morally
hero.
fucked up guy. He's probably not either a cleric or a fucking outsider or actually undead himself, because those all con stronger auras very quickly.
May I ask about your past in necromancy?
He kind of takes a second. Sorry, I stepped away. He takes a second and looks at you and goes, "Oh, yes, I collect necromantic items to research. I've been bringing a lot of artifacts back from artifacts, air quotes. They're not much more higher than your average standard adventurer's gear, but I'm bringing them back nonetheless to catalog them for the collective. I have a staff of undeath in the back. I have a cloak of a dragon's skin that lets you summon the creature back as a spirit. I have an amulet, I think, with an evil fiend in it somewhere that gives off an evil alignment, no matter when you're wearing it or when it's in your vicinity. I have some this thing called lip balm, that apparently, when put onto your lips, make the ability to talk as if you are that individual that soul is trapped in it. That one's an interesting item I'd found amongst the market.
After you catalog them, what do you do with the items with souls in it?
They're locked away and put away deep beneath in the collective for further research if ever needed. Otherwise, it's just kept there in a shelf and kept in good standing, I'd assume. I don't have access to the inner workings of the collective itself.
Thank you. We're cool.
He nods and goes, "Of course. I assume," and he looks up at Frungus again and goes, "that we're fine."
Yes.
Having looked over his papers, do they seem legit or no?
As you
I'm
see, give me a
going to
knowledge
confer
nobility.
with my brother for a second. And I will kind of walk a few, like 15, 20 feet away and walk behind Sprungus. And,
Yeah, once he's behind me, I teleport him into the tent.
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay, let's hit first for Eider. You do recognize the symbol, the kind of inked on or kind of waxed onto it. It is the collective's mark, but not only is it the collective's mark, but you recognize this as one of the highest markings for a scholar who is out of the main city. Meaning, this individual is basically the top-ranking scholar anywhere he goes. As he seems that would note him to be one of the best at his job, is also, as you'd note, quite capable as adventurers, as these types typically like to traverse the Underdark.
Yeah, even if he was a bad dude,
Frungus,
my god still believes in self-preservation.
as you find yourself inside of the tent, I need you to roll me a will save to avoid being sent to another plane.
cool.
Oh my god.
Awesome. That is a 30.
Okay, you succeed. You find yourself in a very normal-looking tent with a bedroll that looks to be slightly torn up at the bottom, as if someone's legs have kind of pushed through it violently to make room for themselves. A couple of what look to be rotten staffs of wood and bone, kind of tied together roughly, kind of leaned up against one of the corners, one of the corner posts of the tent. You immediately can sense a faint necromantic magic coming from him. Not more than what you guess to be caster level 1 to 5 for reference. You do see the amulet hanging over the back or over a what looks to be a stool that's been set up next to a small table where there looks to be a little bit of scrap of food set aside, a journal that's being written in. You immediately recognize the giant language from. The body of this individual is just normal. He looks to be a well-dressed, slightly overweight scholar. His clothes look to be though of a merchant or a nobleman, being like a finer silk green suit that snugly fits around him a bit more than you probably want to wear out in public if you were trying to look fashionable. As you can see, as the buttons are kind of straining a little bit. At the back, you realize now why he also is not stepping out, as his pants are completely split down the back of them, and you can see his ass is kind of hanging out.
I'm not saying that, actually. I'm not saying anything in character.
You're like,
well,
my.
I'm not one to consider that such a bad thing. Looking around... Shit, there's nothing else I see in the tent.
No, just some dirt, some grass, a little bit of what looks to be a little pit in the center with a little fire that you can see some skewers were there for what looked to be some sort of meat he was cooking. But it's been dead. The fire's been out for, you'd guess, hours from a first glance. Yeah.
Gotcha. On my side of the tent,
Well,
be back.
I am going to... How tightly is this tent staked into the ground? This tank.
It looks to have about 8 pegs in total, 4 on the outside, 1 on each corner, and then it looks to be 4 on the inside to keep this tent up, regardless of if it's taken down from the outside. This is a pretty common tent to get. They're called battle or venture tents. They're designed to not be easy for people outside to basically pick up and collapse onto you. It makes it so the tent stays up no matter what.
Cool. I'm just gonna try and crawl out the other side.
Yeah, as you kind of pull yourself underneath the back end and crawl out, he doesn't seem to notice you or change his view as he continues to look at Eider, as Eider kind of examines the papyrus with the wax on it.
Yeah. I was just like kind of like give like a surprise like eyebrow and hand back his papers and says, "Well then, Master Scholar, apologize for any rudeness.
He nods.
Good luck on your expedition."
I appreciate that. It's now if you don't mind, it's quite breezy. I'm not the type to enjoy the snow out there.
Real quick, and I come out from the other side of the tent. Not from where my brother was supposed to be talking to me.
That's puzzling.
Do you serve a god?
He looks at you and goes, "No, research is our only belief."
Incredible. I want to be your friend.
I don't want to be your friend.
That's too bad. I would like to roll to make him my friend.
Roll a diplomacy.
And I am going to motivate charisma on myself.
You see, Chaston, this is what Orion could be.
Oh, dog.
Alright, let's see what you can pull. Let's get that diplomacy here.
Yep. With that, I can add that again. Sorry, hold on.
No, you're good, yeah. What's your
I'm adding all my bonuses.
Yeah.
That
is okay. No, Dom. No, bad. No. No, that is not okay. Go ahead.
Holy shit. What?
Don't worry about it.
Oh, gotcha.
Dom has just disturbed me.
Oh shit! I
You
mean,
say that
I
was
sent
my
that to the wrong
character did
person,
it.
but
Thanks for telling me, Wolf. I don't think it really
Yeah.
matters. Thank you.
it doesn't super matter.
I imagine I've seen you do something like that
God
before. Yeah.
damn it.
Oh, for sure.
He looks at you and goes, listen, it's not personal. I have a job to do and I can't have friends like you following me around. You look like the type
I
that...
won't follow. We'll just be friends, okay? Come on.
You see
You
a,
know you love me.
you see a grimace on his face as he goes, yeah, you can remember me and feel free to talk. Yeah, if you see me again, if we cross paths, sure. He kind of gives like a thumbs up and starts to close the tent and goes,
Wait,
yes.
please, before I go, give me a token of your affection to remember you by.
Do I have to?
Yes, please.
Yes.
He looks over at Eider and you see a sigh as he
I
goes,
just looks at him back like the most confused person as well.
do they do this every time?
We literally just met them last night.
Yes, we do.
He just kind of sighs and goes, oh, one moment, sure. As he kind of leans, kind of closes the tent flap, kind of ruffles around in something, comes back out, and he hands you what looks to be a solid bar of silver with a chunk or two like wires kind of coming out of it, like almost creating a sandal thong. They look to also be designed at the back to hold chains to kind of like clasp onto them. As he hands you one of these things, he looks at you and goes, an invention of mine. Not personal, but they're quite popular amongst some of the people that I've traveled with.
Thank you. Point of order, I do have my brother take it because I cannot even hold it.
Wait, is your strength that low?
It's not that low, but there are other things.
I imagine
still
I grab it like it's a piece of paper. I mean,
Just kind of looks at you as you take it away and looks at the rest of the party and goes, now will you be going or do I need to give up my gold and all my valuables?
Oh yeah. I mean, I gotta know. Question, guys. Did we tell them that there's gonna be a road coming nearby? That there's gonna be a lot more people showing up.
This kid just turns to you lot and says,
I'm just gonna like sigh and just like I like step forward and say no, but hopefully I have something of value to give in return. I just start giving him a rundown of the fucking necromantic dragon that we ran into.
kind of looks at you with that and goes, interesting, so she did manage to do it. I didn't think her experiments would work. I'll keep that in mind. I do appreciate this information. Given the... As he kind of looks at Kaz and goes, road, did you say?
Yes. We're currently employed on an expedition to get a road built from the capital of the Fire Giant Lands to what used to be the Cobalt City.
He looks at you and goes, the Fire Giant Lands, that's quite
did I say Fire Giant? I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so
Frost Giant.
tired.
dude,
Sorry,
across the ocean.
Yeah, man. Guys, it's been a long day.
You see, this hill giant is in awe. Give me a diplomacy check, Kaz.
The most bitchin' road there ever was.
Yeah, the most bitchin' road. Hold on. Fellas, I just need to say I have a plus, 15 to diplomacy. This is going to be very nice.
That one.
Okay. So that's going to be 29.
He looks at you in shock and goes, really? They're going to manage to put one across the water. I had heard Regan Utham had theorized it to be that the water wasn't bottomless, but we never proven it. I guess I will have to see this for myself. Do you know when this will be finished?
No idea.
Oh, well, I appreciate your letting me know. I'll let the collective know if they don't already. This is amazing news.
Guessing I'm still thinking that he said frost instead of fire.
I was like
Nobody correcting
Who's
him,
gonna be after
must
you?
I
You're
say.
spreading slander.
He just kind of nods at that and goes, "Well, I appreciate this grand news. Do
he misspoke. He misspoke. It's the frost giants. There's no
Wait,
water bridge.
I'm so sorry. It's been a very long day. Did I say fire?
It is only like 9 in the morning. A long day."
Sorry, the being that controls my every body in a different realm in universe and time and
Ella
space
Ugbo.
had a very long day at
Whispered of
opening in
Fungus.
college.
I think he's been taken over by a god.
There's a slight concern on the giant's face as he looks between the two of you. As he,
Fungus slowly looks over the cans. Anyway, we'll be going now.
Yeah, it's been a long
mouth, jaw open, kind of looking at you a lot, like as you walk away. You hear the flap close and goes, "Fire and frost giant roads. Wow, Regan Utham is a genius."
Just the one. Just the frost giants.
We're spreading
sorry.
slander.
You know, Sunna, the fire giant, is gonna get so many random letters now. So how are you planning on building this road?
I have no rods.
I feel like Utha would read it and consider doing it, but Suna's not gonna be happy.
As you lot kind of head back, kind of continuing on your road, give me another search check as you lot continue. That's amazing.
Guys, I'm so sorry.
19.
19. Okay. All right. What's up, Dom? Sorry.
Oh, sorry, I thought it was a group search check. Forget me,
No,
I was just about to roll.
just Ryder, yeah. As you lot continue on with Eider kind of leading the way, following through the trees and forest, the rest of the day seems to go almost uneventful. You do find yourself almost on occasion feeling as if you're still being watched from the tree line, but every time you seem to look, nothing seems to be there. As the day goes on, though, as you lot return back to camp, nothing else kind of happening, you watch as the camp itself kind of seems to circle itself up. Having managed to get a decent distance, you lot find yourselves a little bit ahead of schedule, for what you can tell, almost about a half a day further north than you expected before you were going to turn. As you lot look at the map that you had, checking the routes of the expedition and returning to the camp seems to circle up. The smell of cooking meat seems to be on the air, as a bunch of members from the Black Scale, a mercenary company, seem to be coming out of the forest, cheering and shouting, having large creatures skewered on spears and javelins and the lot, as you lot join back up with the expedition.
Well, that was one of the days of all time.
Dom finally reappears from where he was kind of being stealthy and sneaky and just goes, "Looks like they had more of an adventurous day than we did. Can't believe you guys interrogated a man for 20 minutes."
I will hear nothing from you, Dom. Absolutely nothing.
It's amazing though, that there's going to be a bridge to the fire giants' land.
I made a friend.
I'm curious to see how that one blows up in our face. To be
I-
honest, I don't think Uther would be mad, but I don't think he'd be happy.
I look at Fungus and I just go, why do they need bridges? Why does everyone not fly?
Because they're stupid, Sprungus. They're stupid.
Well, fuck you too.
Our
Can't you fly?
creators didn't give us wings, I'm afraid.
I pause, about to say I can't fly, and then think about it. It's like, wait, no, I can.
Eider, fly! Impress them!
So why are you hurt?
Can only do it so often. I don't know.
And
It makes you partly dumb, Eider, not fully. Congratulations.
Silence, idiot.
I like it on ground, personally.
The only thing I can do that's cool is breathe underwater.
You hear one of
You
the.
have to breathe?
You see a few mercenaries that are kind of walking closer by, kind of as Kez mentioned this. One of them, a frost giant who seems to be wearing no like actual shirt, but only a metal greaves and like pants down below to cover himself. A very hefty belt with a giant like face emblem on it. Looks over at Kez and goes, "Don't worry, sweetheart. You can breathe underwater with me anytime."
You're gross.
Sprungus turns and stares at the man.
So does Frungus.
Kind of takes a second, like looks at Frungus. You see a smile creep across, and then he locks eyes with Sprungus and kind of like starts to slowly push his buddy away as they start to give you guys a bit more distance.
Wait! Hold on there, buckaroo.
I'm good now. I don't want any business with you. I've heard the rumors.
Where you stand, and I would like to convince him to stop where he stands.
I think I'm notifying his next of kin.
Yeah, give me a diplomacy check for it.
Okay.
Man's
Don't worry.
fully.
Don't worry, Wolf. If he refuses, I will close the gap for you.
Incredible, thank you.
We're gonna
That's-
fucking beat this guy up.
Okay. Very bad.
Oh god. Bad for you is not terrible. He looks at you and seems to just go, no, man, I get it, you're a friendly guy. No, we don't want anything, as he seems to keep pushing away.
I begin closing the gap.
They start running and screaming towards this camp. You can hear this is a like, oh, this is fun. Oh, we're being chased. No, this is a death curdling where we think we're gonna be eaten alive. As Sprungus starts chasing him, these guys.
I also pursue. Where are you going? Love me!
The four start to dissipate into the forest as you hear the echoes. As you kind of left standing there for a moment.
I just enjoy the silence for a few minutes. All right, that time. While they're going.
You don't want to see how that ends?
Not even a little bit.
I hear his
I'm
deadpan.
curious. Kez?
It's a horrible day for rain.
This kid looks up at the sky now, just kind of continuing to walk.
Well, I'll go with you, Dom.
Yeah, Ned, honestly, you and I are the only ones keeping the mood upbeat nowadays, it seems. We've got our work cut out for us, and I kind of like pat Ned's shoulder. Like, I know, like, come on, if we're not going to have fun while, you know, our lives are threatened, when will we? Because truly, our lives will always be in danger. Isn't that right, Ned?
Well, when I was a baby one time, I had to fist fight a wolf.
Did you win?
Did you? I assume you won?
I mean,
Tell me about that.
I still have all my fingers and my toes, so you can take it from there.
I mean, well, did you have them after the fight? I mean, you know, people can regenerate through magic.
I was a baby.
Stop, Kyle. Laugh
But
at
yes,
the
I won.
deadpan from Ned.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Oh, was worried you died or something in the
Yeah,
story.
That's quite the Spartan upbringing. I mean, granted, I don't know what a Spartan is and what any of those words mean, but yeah.
The
Is
key
it a
is you
Spartan
gotta
like
swing
something?
the bonk stick with true might.
Ah.
Now, what did you do with the wolf when you killed it? I thought you weren't
Well,
really
Well,
fond of.
To be completely honest, I did sleep in it for a few nights for warmth.
oh.
Ah. I've had to do that before with an animal, not a wolf.
So you have no issue cutting open and gutting an animal to sleep in it, but you do have an issue with people turning it into leather and butcheries.
I look down at my leather armor.
No, just the eating part, guys.
Just the eating. Gutting them and sleeping them is fine, but you cannot consume them.
I mean, you gotta live.
Yeah, people eat for them as well.
To be fair, Kez, you're completely against undead, and yet I gesture to the goslings.
I've made it clear
Stop that
multiple
shrug.
times before. While I am opposed to most forms of death, I've made it very clear about the situations where it is allowed.
I'm just saying, people can have
See?
complex beliefs.
Everybody has exceptions. Is what we're learning. Can I say, Dom says this all while like kind of ushering the group towards what's happening. I'm trying to like suddenly lead the group to see, because I kind of want to see what happens with that mercenary.
I feel like that's a wild slapstick that can happen off camera.
Ah, that's true. Can we camera cut to that?
I've always blacked out from that.
Yeah.
As you lot continue head towards the camp, setting yourselves up, kind of finding a nice spot that's somewhat alone and away from the rest of the mercenaries. You watch as a figure kind of comes walking over towards you lot. You see this like almost pale-faced elven female figure coming over in thick wool robes, almost as if she's wearing metal wool wrapped around her. A large pointed blue hat that almost seems to be ridiculous looking, as if it to identify her as someone unique and fashionable amongst the group as she comes walking over to your camp. As she looks over at you lot, her silver hair kind of just starting to come out of the hat. She seems to take it off and looks at you lot. Her bright big blue eyes kind of seemingly kind of glowing in the moonlight as she looks at you lot and goes, excuse me, my name is Leslie. I work for the collective of pirates. I was sent a message from one of my companions that you ran into them. I just came here to confirm his story in case you were concerned about his appropriateness being here, as well as the letter in case you were thinking that he had killed someone that had contained it. I do hope this clears any mix-ups or misunderstandings.
Sure. Can you show the credentials real fast?
Well, I work under Regan Utham, good sir. I don't have to prove my position. I'm a member of the expedition. If you are questioning of my role, you may go ask Burr herself, but I do serve at the court of Regan Utham himself.
Dom?
Sense. Motive! I was literally pointing at the screen.
Yeah, go ahead, let's see.
You don't know how to show your credentials, but the dice sure as hell need to see them.
I do love the fucking, like, I don't have to show my credentials. I was like, you just walked up and told us shit.
Honestly, I was just curious because they
I
said
need to
they
show
were...
my credentials in this confidential incident.
I thought you could have just been like, yeah, this person did work at Utham's court, because, you know, you would have probably
That's
known.
true, I would
was there.
know. Ah, fuck. This isn't good. I only got an 8. Guys, she's evil. We gotta kill her.
What are you trying to gather? Her hostility? Or if she's hostile?
No, I'm trying to verify if she actually works for Utham, like if she's legit, or if she's like kind of being shady, like, don't check my credentials.
From what you can tell, she seems to be telling the truth.
Because from what I remember, guys, when we left, Bargers was the, like, you know, the one who was taking the place of,
Utham did have someone to replace Bargers, I think, when he left.
Well, yeah, I think Bargers said that they were on the way.
Oh.
She does not come off as evil.
Gotcha. I was just like, is this the most naked disguise ever?
Do you worship a god?
A Sprungus seems to appear out of nowhere.
God, fuck.
She looks up and goes, "Oh, are you one of the princelings that we were welcoming? I do not serve any god. We monks, the collective's highest rank, are not allowed to take a religious belief, as it would taint our information."
I see. How sad. As everyone notices, Sprungus has a sword in his hand and sheathes it back on his back.
If you're looking for those who worship people, you're probably more likely to find followers and servants of gods, neither Knighton nor King's End. Many of Oat's followers are believed to be hiding in the forest for closer to King's End at the end of the expedition.
I see.
Looks like we have a long way to go till then, unless you're just gonna leave and do it yourself. But we'd be welcome to have you.
No. If they see me alone, they will run, like they always do.
You did scare most of Regan Utham's members at Velcomen that were good church-going folk, not because of the fact that they were attacking you, but because you showed up in a church trying with a blade in your hand. As you see her getting kind of like slightly angrier as she kind of continues to talk.
They claimed to be heretics. I had.
You princelings are going to be the problem. Anyways, now that I've given my proof of who I am and what's going on, may I ask, is there anything else that you need of the myself or of the collective itself?
I must state that she definitely did not give proof of who she was. She just said, "Trust me, bro."
Source, I made it up.
She looks amongst you lot, waiting to see if you say anything.
I mean, she doesn't serve a god. Sprungus doesn't really care anymore. He seems to be looking off.
Listen, there's far worse things at play here. I really don't care.
I just kind of sigh. I was like, and just like relay the like information about like the bizarre like foot pattern that we like ran into. I was like, I don't super care if she's not the right person.
She looks at you and goes, "Oh, those must be the ghouls that were spotted nearby. We had heard rumors that they had been around. A couple of frost giants had died poorly. With thick silver bars tied to their feet and forced to walk through the snow bare naked while creatures basically nipped at their skin and such. It's quite a horrendous death. The creatures are quite common to find, unfortunately, in these areas, but not ones that are so angry and so large."
Silver bars?
Yes, and she kind of like puts her hand out and to measure about the size of a frost giant's foot.
Is it comparable to the silver bar me and Frungus were given?
The one that Frungus was, the one that you were that was supposed to be given to Frungus, but you took, is about the size of what you'd guess to be an elf's foot. It's quite small, but smaller, but seems to fit exactly the description.
Yeah, Sprungus pulls out and is looking at it, and then looking at the lady, and then looking at it.
She looks at you and goes, "Oh, looks like you found one of the poor creature's footwear. I imagine they must have it's quite small, but maybe they reproduce or something. I don't." She starts writing something down.
The member of the collective claimed he invented them.
That is interesting. Did he now? And she writes it down, and you see her kind of circling a couple of things as she does this. She looks over at Kesnanok almost at that mention for a second, and then kind of eyeing Ned's goslings goes, "You're a cleric, correct, Kesnanok?" She looks at you and goes, "Perfect. Do you serve a god of undeath? I can't help but notice your goslings that travel with you are undead."
I serve the mother.
Hey god, okay, this may be in poor taste then to ask you, but did you detect any undead, in the area, or do any looking around to see if there was any signs of foul play?
The only form of, necromantic dealings is when Ned's, thing, glue up around your other, member. We were talking to him.
What do you mean, glue?
His staff lights up when he detects necromancy.
My spear.
She
Yeah,
kind of looks at Ned's spear for a second and goes, He wasn't a necromancer, though. That's...
He told a whole story about how he was a necromancer and part of a court of necromancers.
That he studied necromantic artifacts and stuff of that nature.
Does this mean I can kill him?
He was never able to cast magic above first capabilities, from what I've heard. The first rankings. That's interesting. He did serve at Zurit's court for quite a while, but I can't help but wonder how he learned necromantic magic.
He said he had a lot of items like staffs of undeath and stuff of that nature. Maybe that's what was blocking him as a necromancer.
It's possible. That could be the case with magic items. She nods and goes, I will send the Black Hand to investigate this on the morrow. I appreciate you reporting this information. I'll make sure your pay is appropriately given for this information.
I hope he is, not an issue. Even if he was, I suspect that if he is as high ranking as his papers were to make us believe, I don't think we probably... I don't know if we would have been able to handle him.
She nods at that and kind of writes some more things down. As she scribbles away, she goes, I appreciate this report. If you see anything else that's quite interesting while you're out and about, please do come find me amongst the camp. I'm happy to see what I can learn and gather. She looks amongst the rest of you as she kind of pauses for a second. Seeing that none of you, the rest of you kind of speak, she turns and goes, I'll take my leave now. I must report some of this information to Burr. Tonight's meal, just as if you're curious, there are a bunch of, like deer-like creatures we had found, never before discovered in Regan Utham's land. We'll be testing them out for consumption tonight. Meat is being handed out in plentiful amounts, so feel free to eat your fill.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the heads up.
She nods and turns and walks away, leaving you lot amongst yourself. In the distance, the sounds of Frungus being mobbed still by further frost giants.
Does anybody have, purify, food and drink, or, detect poison, or anything of that nature, just in case?
I did not, unfortunately.
I can learn it, except, I guess I could take an hour and, rearrange my spells to pick it up.
Yeah, I was about to suggest we just eat, the leftovers from the morning.
Yeah, with new meat being tested, I don't know if I want to be the guinea pig.
Yeah.
Dom kind of looks in there amongst the equipment.
Excellent.
Alright. As you lot set up camp, kind of getting your wagon set to the side, unloaded, some logs and some rocks dragged over to kind of set a little fire pit. Frungus returning, covered head to toe in a sheen. Although you don't really, as you all kind of see this, just kind of dismissing and immediately continue on.
I return being princess carried by frost giants.
Frungus is let down onto Sprungus. The frost giants seem to bow and turn and go back about themselves, heading back into the camp.
I'll see you boys later. And I slap one on the ass as they leave.
Kesnock will continue doing his jeweling work.
Okay.
Cleaning up jewelry and all that for the nobles.
As the chef brings food, a few nobles kind of come over checking on their sets of armor and their jewelry. The meat brought out as Sprungus begins to work and prepare it seems to come out quite clean as the darkened black chunks are cut away, revealing what looks to be some sort of reddish, deep red meat underneath. As Sprungus begins to work at it, you want to give me a cooking check, please?
Of course.
Either craft or profession, depending on what you have. Or perform.
Only craft. I don't get profession as the class I am.
Fair enough.
It's sad. Let's see. I think it's a non-natural 20. I believe.
Alright.
Yeah, that's gonna be a 20.
As you go and begin to prepare the meat, cutting it away and cutting all of the bits that you can, tossing the chunks that you know the goslings can eat towards them, you begin to work away. It's almost down to a quarter of the meat portion that you're given, but by the time you're done, you manage to put together something well served, a well cooked, what looks to be almost like a steak-like prepared meat, allowing for the similar legumes and potatoes to be allowed or be brought out in this thicker sauce. As the grouping is prepared and handed to you lot, enjoying the meal. Ned casting, was it detect poison, or did you see a remove poison?
Detect.
Detect. With that, let me double check. Is there a roll? I just want to see. It's been a bit since
Not
I've
what
had
you want to
it.
hear.
Give me a wisdom check, please.
Okay.
Because I don't think you have alchemy for a craft check.
No.
Okay.
$19.
19. You detect no poison.
I just like dip my finger into my bowl and wiggle it around.
As
Yep, it's good.
the gelatin, like sauce, seems to move almost like a solid like object as he moves his finger about inside of it.
If I remember right, detect poison just detects if it's poison. It doesn't necessarily if it's going to make you sick.
Correct.
I think I'll stick with the leftovers / rations.
Okay.
With that being the case, it's like
I'll reheat up the previous food.
I was about to say, I'd rather play it safe.
Ned, are you gonna just enjoy the beans and potatoes once more?
Yeah, I'm not eating any meat.
All right, Dom.
What's the new? Did they say what the meat's from?
They did not. They said it was a newly discovered creature that they hadn't found before.
Some
Deer
kind,
like.
of, some kind of deer creature.
Hey, I have 10 temp HP to burn through before a long rest, to be fair.
God, I hope it doesn't. If it
Please, please do remember, most poisons do not hurt your health, but your stats.
Yeah, they go after con, wisdom,
No.
intelligence, and charisma, typically.
Okay, yeah, I can't afford any lower stats. I
They go
guess
after-
Dom will. Yeah, Dom. I'll have the leftovers. There's nothing wrong with Krungus's cooking. I can have it
Alright.
again.
As the night goes on, let me just do something real quick for my own note. You watch as many of the other groups and squads near you lot begin to kind of spend a lot of the night kind of getting up and down, running to the edges of the fort as the sounds of groans can be heard, some cries of pain, some high-pitched screams as the night is almost left as a howling nightmare amongst your dreams as the others seem to get the rest of the expedition seems to get pretty hefty food poisoning from the meat as it is not cooked to capability. However, Sprungus, the meat that you've kind of like that you had prepared and decided to set off to the side as the party didn't want to eat it, you notice one of the other squads one of the smaller groups of the Black Hand grabbed hold of it and seemed to run off with it, you not caring as it didn't cost you anything, left it be. They seem to be the only group you notice that seem to have not gotten sick, as they seem to be quite fine walking about throughout the night. As the night continues on, though, with each of you kind of taking watch in turn, the sounds and screams keeps most of people away and kind of busy as the night goes on. That's where we're going to end session there, with you lot coming to wake up in the morning and continuing your journey. We thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed, and this has been the Unfortunate Sons.